The male loser epidemic. Is it here? Has it even started? Are we still in it? Are we getting out of it? Well, we're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing that in today's video by the one and only Shoe on Head. We love Shoe on Head on this channel. We react to her videos quite a bit and we commentate about the topics that she shares with us. Link to her original video down in the description. As always, if you like the conversations and discussions we have here on my channel, consider subscribing. This is going to be a real one, I have a feeling.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something, but thankfully that did not happen. But at least we found out the real Epstein files were the friends we made along the way. Welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. If it is your first time here, run. I am Shoe on Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues, mostly surrounding men's issues.
It's kind of weird. She hasn't done a promo intro in a long time. I wonder if she's doing it now because there's so many new people coming to her videos because of people reacting to them. So I wonder if that's the case.
It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's issues.
Which, by the way, I think it was harder to talk about BuzzFeed because back then, like, BuzzFeed liberal feminism had such a hold on the internet space that it was like you could not make fun of them or without them trying to leak your house, get you fired from your job and thrown in jail for just making fun of them.
One of the main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic.
Damn. Which, by the way, shout outs to Lord Kowalski for a super thanks on my last video. Appreciate that. If you want to buy me a drink, consider dropping a super thanks on any of the videos. We'll be doing drink reviews soon. Don't want to spoil it. What we're going to be reviewing, but Polish beers are the first one.
It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
You know what's ironic? I'm going to call it now. Women wanted men to take a step back and be in the background. Now they're complaining, it seems like. Is that what it's going to be? I haven't watched this video. It just came out. So I'm just saying, is it because women were spent the last decade telling men that they need to be in the background, and then finally that they're complaining that they're not over here taking charge? Crazy.
Now, I don't always talk about men's issues. No, sometimes I talk about politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like politics. You don't care about politics. But politics cares about you, and it will enter your life no matter how hard you try to avoid it. But thankfully, I have the perfect app to help you navigate this difficult, confusing political landscape. So let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ground News, before we get into this video, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way to read the news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, ownership, and headlines that helps you understand the full story and make sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features from Ground News has to be the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the CIA uncovered a Russiagate fraud, and right away we can see how it has been covered by 41 sources, and out of those 41 sources, 93% of them lean right, with only 2 left-wing outlets reporting the story. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see just how political bias can affect the framing of a story.
Which is crazy that, by the way, shout outs to Ground News. Y'all guys should sponsor me. It's crazy that we even need an app like this. At least in America, we definitely do, because there's so much biases going around and special interests. But I do think that, I don't know if this app is available in European countries or like what the news situation is over there in regards to this app. But I will say this, as somebody who's been covering a lot of European social issues and economic issues and politics in general, as well as the countries themselves, I'm finding a lot of censorship going on over there. It's kind of crazy. I thought at first it was kind of exaggerated, but the more I deep dive into something that I find interesting, the more I run into censorship. It's kind of crazy. It's actually wild.
For example, this story about Zoran Mamdani winning the Democratic primary in New York. This left-leaning outlet says Zoran Mamdani's win just got a little sweeter. And meanwhile, the right-wing outlet says, meet Zoran Mamdani, the man who will ruin New York.
True. He's gonna cook it. He's gonna fry it, deep fry it. And hey, you know what? Fuck New York. So I don't care. Actually, vote for him so they can ruin it. Actually.
As you can see, very different vibes. I have been using Ground News since 2021 because I think it is so informative, so fun, and it helps me see how different stories are framed so differently, and I love it. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few apps that I wake up and just immediately check. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. High praise. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all of their amazing features. This comes out to only like $5 a month, which is like the price of a coffee.
That's actually not bad. But do you actually, let me see. Peter Albert should break down the stories bucket. Use bias analysis, your article bias. But do you actually get the articles, or do you have to buy the articles themselves after that? Because I would rather pay for this than pay for each individual subscription to these news outlets, because first of all, they're bullshit, and also they're bullshit. So this seems like a way better deal if that is the case.
So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code right there on screen, or the link in the video description down there to subscribe to Ground News today. I feel like what they're doing is really important, especially right now, and it helps us approach the news in a more fair and balanced way. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
Never, we don't skip the ads.
Right. Now let's get back to the video. With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic.
No.
Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men.
But I don't know if she's gonna show this, but this one specifically, this is even crazier. They rented out a bougie ass hotel to then get American men to come to it, middle class, working class men. But then it wasn't even, it was just bougie, upper class, liberal men that were already supported. It was so funny how out of touch the whole situation was. Anyway, but it's just really funny.
Working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists pulling up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things.
They treat us like animals, and then they're surprised when we don't support them. They spent the last decade making specifically white men the villains of everything, and now that they're like, you know what, I'm gonna go to a party that doesn't treat me like shit, they're like, wait a minute, what did they do wrong and how do we fix them, rather than being like, oh, maybe we're the bad guys. They will never admit that they're wrong. That's the thing about the Democratic Party. They'll never admit that they're wrong, at least in the US.
The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're
True.
studying. Now, as you can see here is the young man in his natural habitat, in a dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young...
And then, wait, did bro has potting soil. Does anybody notice this? It's kind of weird, right? This guy, Asmund, has potting soil in his fucking room. Since when did this fucking happen? Yeah, does he have all that potting soil for that little ass fucking pot? What is he doing? Oh, there's two of them, but still, a big old bag of potting soil for these two little pots, bro. What? What the fuck? I don't even care about the A1 sauce. I've known people that eat a lot of A1 and the black pepper, but I just think this is so, what the fuck? You don't need that much for these two, dude. Okay, I'm done. That's so stupid. It's so crazy.
Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you can see, also dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates. But moving on, here is another
God.
young man.
Shout out to Nux. I don't really know him or really why people hate him, to be honest, but shout out to him, I guess.
We think, we're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Well, you didn't follow up to see if they got it out. Or did they get it out? I guess it once, so it's past tense. Anyway, she should have followed up to make sure he was okay. Just throwing that out there.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
But the stats don't bear that out now. Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families.
I can't stand this fucking I shit on the left a lot, but Tommy Lauren is one of the ones on the right that really get on my fucking nerves, dude. She's like on the right, there's like, they're not grifters, right? I don't consider them grifters. They're just people they're agitators. Is that the best example? Or instigators? All they do is gaslight because they just love to troll. No, you know what? They're trolls. They just be gaslighting people. The shit she be saying, like she would say, maybe like say she has 10 things to say. 9 out of those 10 will be complete troll gaslighting type shit to get people mad. And then that one thing might be a good point or a bad point. It doesn't matter because the other 9 are fucking retarded. So,
But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong.
I mean, I kind of did. But she's absolutely right. I guess I'm only saying this now because I got to catch myself because I summarized the whole conversation. I didn't summarize what she was saying specifically. It's almost like she predicted. I haven't seen this video, but she like literally predicted how I was going to respond. So crazy. It's weird. It's actually kind of weird. But yeah, no, yeah, 100%. She's right.
So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. All right, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel.
The white monsters.
See? I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this.
They are. Spoiler, there is some. There's quite a few.
Leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young...
Bro, she really so annoying, dude. I can't stand her, bro. Can't stand her. Can't stand her. She's I just wanna, my ears are bleeding.
Women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
So first of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile...
But I'm gonna be fair here. It's okay. Maybe it's not. I need to be double fair. Okay, so it's not men staying home in mama's basement, but there is a generation of people, or there's a a group of kids who were born, but their parents were older, on the older side, like older parents that had kids, and now those kids are growing up, but because they had them at such a later age, they're much older. And so you have an influx of those kids that are now taking care of their parents. So I do want to be fair here and say there is a large sudden jump in that kind of number of people, but it's definitely not what she's absolutely right. It's not there's like a dude in the mama's basement, but there is it was like the last birth or the last wave of baby boomers or whatever the fuck. I don't know what they classify it, but it was just like there's just a lot of people with really old parents that are my age, but like their parents are like fucking old as shit. So
Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs, f*** you. Nice. Thanks. I love you. I love you too. Is the amount of young men living home with their parents increasing? Yes.
That's what I said.
Because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy. They're financing it. Come on.
This is one of the craziest things. People say, this is where I'm gonna be honest. Oh shit, wrong one. People say, oh, it's the white man, or oh, it's all these different societal issues that are keeping me down and keeping me poor. Motherfuckers are opening up a line of credit to just order DoorDash. If you are ordering DoorDash on a line of credit with 4 installment payments, you deserve to be scammed for the rest of your life. I'm just gonna be honest. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Do not do that. If you don't have the money to be eating out, don't be eating out. But also, why the fuck are you ordering that much DoorDash? Get some help.
Get with the times.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay.
They're
Just
fried.
wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this shit isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a fucking boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other—
Because she's trolling. She just likes talking shit. That's all I don't even call her a grifter because I think she came for money. So it's not even like that. She's just like talking shit, and people give her a platform and she gets away with it. That's why.
word for this, but I hate this like generational pick-me shit. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with this brain-dead boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a fucking house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers. They are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers.
Hold on, let's see those numbers. How much different?
Boomers, okay? My parents are boomers. They are lovely people. A lot of you—
Let's see how different they are to mine. Let me see. Than you guys. We're about the same. Okay, so for compared to her, we're mostly 18 to 24 and 25, or 18 to 34. We don't have a lot of 35 to 40s or above. So we're towards the bottom bracket. That's actually kind of crazy though. I didn't think she had that many 35 to 44.
guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume, are good people. But my god, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income. A single income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't prostitute away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids.
And then it's also like, I know she talked about the housing market, but the thing about it too is rather than selling their property to other families in the country, they sell it to these giant fucking investment firms. So it's even like an extra level of like pettiness. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's insane to me.
I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children. Not happening.
Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but
it's in the water. The water it's turning the frogs gay.
Men are moving right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so...
There is way too many. I'm going to be honest. I don't know where the fuck they all came from, but they just spawned in from... Hey, look at the flag. Hey. Coincidence? I think not.
Maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact opposite.
True.
According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance, but among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence.
Yep. It's that the thing is, like, this is what's ironic is that one of the good things that Trump's done is this like family kid investment plan that they introduced. I don't know the exact window of time you need to have a kid. It's like in the next couple years or whatever, you have a kid and they save $1,000 or a certain amount of money for the next 18 years so that when that kid becomes 18, they can use that to pay for college, down payment on a car, buy a car, down payment on whatever, on a house or whatever. So it's like a good idea. But what she pointed out that's really important is, yes, that is a great policy. That's a great plan. Majority of Americans supported it. But the key factor here is, if you look at this, personal independence. And that is, it says the strongest amongst women, right? But that still does mean that men still feel that way. Do you see what I'm saying? So even if you, now that we're starting to get as we're starting to barely get these policies to enhance our lives, we've felt that we needed personal independence for so long that we're not even motivated to want to take advantage of those. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like it's so late to the game that most people just want to be free because it's stressful. It's like we're cynical, a little bit more cynical. It's just crazy. Like it's a deeper, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's a deeper problem than just policies. Like you can present the best economy right now, but you got to change the mentality of this, the personal independence. And that's really hard to do when someone spent their whole life kind of having everything count against them. And so they just don't trust it.
Reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again, they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this.
True.
But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is gonna be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
I think
We just want to be loved, and not for like these weird social media clout shit. Because like it's at a point now where it's not even about gold diggers, right? It's not about gold digging. It's about like this weird, like, men are just exhausted with art, like this weird artificial, like, women always trying to take advantage because they feel that they have to, when it's like no normal person does that. And so it's just we just want to be loved for us, literally. It's men are becoming more romantic than women. I think it's really that.
men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and
Yo, what happened to Ninja? Why does he look like that? That's crazy.
a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video because I am really interested to see.
No, the boomer site with the boomer comments. I'm actually kind of surprised she threw this in here because this is actually really exciting to see.
What, like, the typical Fox News viewer thinks about this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93 and they have 0 children between both of them.
True.
They both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me. My goodness! Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes, we know you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my sons stay home. I'm trying to push them out of the nest. Okay, I really gotta ask, is this an Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old?
Yes, it is. And one of the things I'm discovering is not even a lot of people correlate it with like Mexican cultures or Latino cultures, Hispanic cultures. There's a lot of cultures that actually try to keep the families together.
My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the f would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking for a woman who probably can't cook? Not
No, she can't. I promise you.
me though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
Oh, we all know 2 minutes wasn't enough. Stop it. They were frozen. They're all soggy.
Bone apple teeth.
Now, unfortunately, Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid, lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it, referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy. And he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Oh, get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans because
The thing, again, there is jobs. They just don't pay enough to support a family. So even if someone gets a job, just because they're not married doesn't mean they don't have one. They probably have one. A lot of men have one. It's just they can't support another person on it. And because the dating market requires women bring nothing and men bring everything, why the fuck would anybody try? It's just, again, I have to repeat it.
Because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor.
and they don't pay enough. So that's why, like, for example, everyone's like, well, why don't they just work the fields? Nobody wants these jobs. They would take them if they paid, but they don't. And so those jobs are basically out the market because they don't pay. And then they're scooped up by undocumented illegal immigrants. So no matter, it's literally like we're at the point where, just my advice to any young man, you're better off starting your own business. And I don't want to sound like one of those, oh, start your own business, become a millionaire. You're just better off working for yourself the sooner you can, even if you're only making like 40, $50,000 after taxes, because you're gonna make that probably less than that working anywhere else um before taxes. So it's just, to me, it's like, it's I don't know if that makes sense. I don't want to get all into the finances and stuff, like, because I would charge money for this kind of conversation, but just besides the point. But that's what I'm saying. It's at a point where it's like that. There's just too many factors for something that used to be so easy.
Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders?
Open borders.
That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it
Anybody
would make a lot
me.
of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being
He supported the party that started that problem. How ironic.
taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest.
Which is not even true at all. The irony. There is obviously some high-level talent that does come out of the rest of the world, but it's so much cheaper in the long run for these people to get these visas, because once they want, like, so for example, here's a good example. What a lot of companies do is they scale up when profits are good, and then once they start trying to lean up a little bit and cut back on costs, they start firing people. With these visas, you don't have to fire anybody. You just get rid of them. You just send them back. You don't renew their visas. Do you see what I'm saying? And so it saves them time, money, and a bunch of headaches. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of like an exploit, really, in the system.
Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year, he told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's yourself in the face. Interesting. There's also
Yep. Amen.
affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just don't exist anymore.
Yes, and what she's saying is, so DEI and all this other shit that basically discriminated against men, specifically white men, they are the victims of that. And the irony is, a lot of these men were more qualified than these women. Statistically, all these DEI initiatives only benefited white women, not even people of color, which is ironic. It just goes to show how hypocritical they are. But it goes back to the idea of what she's saying. Again, Fox News criticizes all this DEI stuff, which is valid, but now they're blaming the victims. Like they didn't just talk about the causes for why they're there. Like it's like they just keep like I said earlier. She's saying it, and I said earlier. These people just like shitting on people, even if they're right. Doesn't matter. They just keep shitting. That's all they do. They find any opportunity to shit, and that 1 little % of thing that they actually talk about it doesn't even matter.
And it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement, ordering DoorDash and playing video games. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs.
It's the liberal white women.
I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too.
The liberal white women.
Many of the dying industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher-paying, higher-position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings
How convenient. But yet, we'll still get blamed for everything.
at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all. They can do anything.
I think there's a lot of bullshit jobs that exist in the market that are just, I don't know why. Those bubbles, you know what industry they are. Those bubbles are going to burst soon, and then they're going to blame men for it. I promise you.
They can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider.
True,
but they
I do.
Can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me.
I want my money and I want your money, but I don't want you to have any of my money nor your money.
Protect my family, make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money. Hello class, I am Miss On Head. I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today...
What a reference. Because he's made quite a few videos on that epidemic.
Today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class? Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate, income going to the 1%, rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around this time, but we don't have to get into that today. The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success.
And if anything, it guarantees failure in a lot of cases, because the harder you work, the more likely someone's expecting that of you, and they want more for less. Does that make sense? So if you work hard for the same amount of money, then it kind of disadvantages you now because you're not going to get more. So yeah, it's an Ouroboros. It's a snake that keeps eating itself over and over and over again.
And the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze.
It's squeeze it, you squeeze it, you squeeze it, no juice is coming out, and you think it's juicy. You think there's juice in there when you squeeze it, but nothing's coming out when you squeeze. Where's the juice? It should be leaking, but it's not. I keep squeezing, but no juice comes out.
Whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic...
So men on the right are saying, hey, that are moving to the right, are saying, hey, I want to work for my money. I want more opportunities. Give us more opportunities to earn our money. Whereas the men who keep staying on the left, that went further left, they're like, I want handouts. Give me more handouts. Do you see the difference? Ladies and gentlemen, this is American politics. Men who move to the right want more opportunities to earn their money. Men who move to the left just want handouts. I wanted to make it very clear because that is what's going on.
Socialists won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works for them because this is not working for them.
Nope.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation.
The conspiratorial, the Russian asset that is Tucker Carlson. Can't stand that guy.
Of fighting aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault, an all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it, unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo.
If anything, they actually ran more to the right. Enlistments at an all-time high now. I think that's where I disagree with her. Now, doesn't mean that these guys actually know what war is. No, but they just saw the opportunity to actually be a good soldier. Does that make sense? Because a lot of the American military was like, I'll be honest, it was kind of weird. They were like pandering. They were like, people were going into the military solely to get sex changes because the government will pay for it. All this weird shit was going on. And so the military was just kind of like, what's going on? But now men who have always wanted to join the military feel more compelled now because they feel like it's more respected.
We'll have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them.
Yeah, which, by the way, I don't know why people keep blaming Trump for it. I do think he needs to release the Epstein files, and I do blame him for it. But again, Biden had these things and never released them. We have now 2 presidencies, Biden and now Trump, where they do not release these damn Epstein files. And the theory is the reason why Trump doesn't release them is because Trump is supposedly rumored to be on them, right? Which would make sense because at the time all that was happening, Trump was actually a Democrat back then. And a lot of the names on the list are Democrats, as well as Republicans, but mostly Democrats. So it's like, it's this weird, like, nobody wants to sabotage the other they don't want to release it because it'll sabotage themselves. But you would think they would want to because it would sabotage the other side, but then they can't because it would sabotage them. It's like this weird government cover up. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't want to get into it, but it's fucking wild. Regardless of what side of you're on, it's crazy. So blatant cover up. In our lifetime, we've never, all the other ones were like, oh, conspiracies that turned out to be true, but we're always like, this one's like, yo, this is crazy. Now we have 2 presidents that didn't want to release it. That's crazy. That's getting weird.
But we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second.
Whoa, who's this?
That's better. So that was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy Lauren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably reading them right now as you type them. Wait, don't write that. No, you can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like this video, please subscribe. And if you can, donate to me on Patreon or leave a little tip with a little tip jar down below. I'll give it a little heart. It helps the channel and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video, a new slop video, because I know you gremlins love that shit. Bye!
We love Shoe on Head. Yes, she's back. Save us. What do you think about all this? I think I said all that I need to say. This is an hour-long video. Yeah, love you guys. Check out the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you, actually, by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.